Welcome to the channel, Collectibles or Junk. This is episode 1 of Junk Wax Gems. Decided to start a little series going through my huge sports card collection. Unfortunately for me, I collected cards during the worst possible time ever, during the Junk Wax era. So I'm just going to be searching through my boxes of Junk Wax era cards, searching for some gems. So I think I'm going to kick things off by going through some of the hand-collated sets that I made over the years. If you were a sports card collector back in the day, you probably loved putting together complete sets. And one of my favorite sets from the Junk Wax era was the 1991 Classic Four Sport Draft Pick set. And I used to buy the French version. The French version had a 1.2 times multiplier and the Beckett Monthly magazine because I guess they're more rare and more limited, and so they had a little bit more value to them back in the day. So this was a pretty cool set. You see Eric Lindros there, the Hall of Fame hockey player, supposed to be the next great one, but injuries kind of unfortunately derailed his career, I should say, which is unfortunate for us Flyers fans. You have Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson became Grandmama in the Converse commercials back in the day. Had a great start to his career. Some of his star faded when Shaquille O'Neal took over the league in the very next year. And then, of course, back injuries limited his stardom. But he was the man for a very short period of time. But big impact in us sports card collectors and young sports fans back in the day. Then you have Brian Taylor next to him, the New York Yankees first-round pick who never made it to the league, unfortunately. A lot of hype around Brian Taylor. He never made it, got into a barroom fight sticking up for his brother and hurt his shoulder and just ended his career, basically. And then, of course, you have Russell Maryland. I believe he's a Hall of Famer for the Dallas Cowboys. Not big Cowboys fans here, but we do respect good players. So Russell Maryland was a part of this set. So I personally loved collecting draft pick cards, minor league cards, rookie cards were the things to get back in the day. I'm sure they still are, but I always thought there was something special about pre-draft draft pick cards, pre-rookie cards. Here you have Peter Forsberg, drafted by my Philadelphia Flyers, traded for Eric Lindros. What could have been with that one, huh? For us Flyer fans, Colorado Avalanche benefited from that. We have, some hockey cards here. Don't know too many of these players. Hockey is my least favorite sport. I was into it back in this day, but not many of these guys really panned out other than Peter Forsberg and Eric Lindros. I don't even think Eric had a card except for that header card there. Let's see if my memory serves me correctly. A lot of names so I don't really recognize. So, hockey kicks things off. Peter Forsberg, probably the only big name in this hockey set. Zygmunt Palffy, I think he played for the Rangers, maybe? Did he win a cup for the Rangers in '94? Could be wrong. So, a lot of junk wax here. So if you're a hockey guy or gal, forgive me if I pass up some names. I think Hamrick was a big name. I just don't know hockey that well. I'm a fair weather fan and a homer. I really only follow my teams. And none of these guys really stand out. So maybe not a very good start to this series of Junk Wax Gems. But we do have a Hall of Famer in Peter Forsberg. Looking forward to these other sports here. Chris Osgood had some solid years, I guess. I think he's with the Red Wings. Let's see. As you hear a little chirping in the background, my fire smoke detector battery just started to die today. So I don't have an extra battery, so you hear some chirping in the background. Forgive me for that. And move on to baseball. So there's Brian Taylor. Sad story. Some great minor league years. He got into a barroom fight with his brother. And unfortunately, unfortunately, was never the same after that. A lot of hype around him. His baseball cards worth a lot of money back in the day. Dimitri Young was a phenom for the Cardinals a while back. Some of these guys you see just didn't make it. Tyler Green with his knuckle curveball. Philadelphia Phillies. I'm a Phillies fan. He was an all-star his rookie year. He had an amazing first half of his rookie year. I think it was 1995, and then was terrible the second half of the year and never really pitched again. Doug Glanville had some good years for the Phillies and the Cubs. Manny Ramirez, in a lot of people's eyes, should be a Hall of Famer. One of his first cards. Manny was linked to steroids, so that messed up his legacy. Cliff Floyd was a big name back then. I loved collecting Cliff Floyd cards. I thought he was the next big thing. Had some very good years, but that injury at first base really kind of got him off to a slow start. I don't think he would have lived up to his hype, but had some many good years. Calvin Poke-Reese had some good years. Alan Watson. So some Aaron Selly. Some pretty good names here in the baseball section. Some guys who had big names back in the 90s that never made it as well. It's crazy how some people get so hyped up and just never make it in the big leagues. I mean, obviously it's very hard to make it in the big leagues, and all these players made it farther than I did. But you gotta give them props and respect in that regards. But a lot of these guys who had rookie cards worth money, I say money, I mean a couple bucks back in the day, just never panned out. Bobby Jones is one of those guys. The New York Mets had all those young starting pitchers that are supposed to be great. They really never did anything. So, some baseball cards here. These are the 1991 draft picks. Sorry for the chirping in the background. Just tough luck. I'm wanting to start this video series for a couple weeks now. I thought about it a couple weeks ago, but just been putting it off. I was trying to watch a movie with my daughter, and she said, let's go downstairs in the basement. So you hear her in the background working on her gymnastics and listening to our video. She said, Daddy, go downstairs and do some work. So I said, all right, baby, let's do it. So she's training. I am doing videos. Going through some junk wax gems. We're looking for junk wax gems here. So Frankie Rodriguez was a big name, draft pick. I actually know his brother-in-law. My wife grew up with his brother-in-law in Brooklyn, New York. So that's my 6 degrees of separation of Frankie Rodriguez. And that's the baseball part of this set. Now we go into the football. Rocket Rahib Ishmael. Remember the hype? If you're old enough to remember the hype that he had coming out of college. So much hype, he actually signed with the Canadian Football League because I guess he wasn't getting enough money in the NFL. Whatever, I don't know why he split to Canada. I forget the story behind that, but he had some good years in the pros, but never really lived up to his hype. There's Russell Maryland, another Dallas Cowboy. He had a good career, though. So a lot of these guys, football players, had some good years. Nothing major. But you're going to see a Hall of Famer in here soon. Now, there is a big name football player in here. Couple of guys that didn't make it either. Alvin Harper had some good years for the Cowboys. Mike Pritchard was a good receiver. Dan McGuire was supposed to be a big-time quarterback for the Seahawks. He never really panned out. But I believe there's a Hall of Famer in here coming up somewhere. So a lot of these names. Randall Hill had some good years for the Cardinals. I think he finished with the Dolphins. Good receiver. Todd Marinovich. His rookie card's worth a lot of money back in the day for the Los Angeles Raiders. Never really made it. I think I got into drugs. It just really wasn't that good. I can't remember the whole story. So a lot of these cards are sticky from being put together for about 30 years. I've not looked at this set in about 30 years, guys. I probably put it together in the mid-90s. And there it is, Brett Favre. So Brett Favre rookie card. Looks like there's a little, probably can't see in the video, but the little indentation here, which obviously is going to bring the value down of the card. But there's Brett Favre, who killed his legacy post-career, but considered by many one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. was a first-round pick, I believe, right? First-round pick, or number 33 pick. So I guess a second-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons. Got traded to the Green Bay Packers, and the rest is history. So Browning Nagel, Jets QB, never really made it. So that's probably the biggest name in this set. Brett Favre, Manny Ramirez. That one Eric Lindros card. I don't know why he doesn't have a regular card, which kind of stinks, especially if you're a Flyers fan like myself. Ricky Waters was a great running back in the NFL. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Kind of hurt his legacy with the alligator arms with his first career game with the Philadelphia Eagles, which is sad because he had a great career with the Eagles as well. Won a Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers in 94. Became an Eagle in 95. And that was really that. So that's the end of the football section. Then we have Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson, man, a lot of hype for him coming out of college. And UNLV had some great teams. I had a Larry Johnson shirt as a kid. And I never really wore shirts or jerseys of players that weren't on my team. But Larry Johnson, I loved him, man. He was awesome for the Charlotte Hornets. I had his sneakers. And then, unfortunately, back injuries settled him down a little bit. Ended up having a decent run with the Knicks later in his career, but the hype kind of slowed down after, Shaquille O'Neal came into the league, then Chris Webber, and I said injuries caught up to him. And Kimmy Mutombo is a Hall of Famer. Mark Macon was my first favorite college basketball player for the Temple Owls. I actually ended up going to Temple about 6 years later. Dale Davis had some good years with the Pacers. Some Seton Hall star there. I think Chris Gatling is from New Jersey. Elizabeth, New Jersey, I think. Does it say? I don't think it says. But either way, had a couple decent years in the league. And some of these guys just didn't really make it. So, Eric Murdoch there. Ron Ellis. So these cards all sticking together. Rick Fox, he became a star. Probably more for his good looks than for his ball playing skills. He was, a solid player in the league for a very long time. It's crazy. A lot of stars here in the college game. It just blows my mind how some guys are just stars in college and just they can't make it in the big leagues, in the professional ball. It's just crazy to me. And again, that's not a knock on these guys because they are world-class athletes and much better than us average Joes. But it's just crazy how someone could be a stud in college and just forget how to play or just really not be that good in the next level. It's just always blows my mind, especially in baseball. Baseball is like 5 levels of minor leagues. And you have guys who are AAA players, stars, in AA and single A, AAA, and they can't hit major league pitching. It's just crazy. So this is the basketball section. Those names I don't know, but Larry Johnson was probably the biggest name at the time when this set was made. Front row had a whole thing, had a whole company centered around him. Classic looks like they had a lot of his cards as well. So, and that's probably it. I doubt any of these other names will be recognized. Billy Owens had some good years with, I think, Golden State Warriors. Looks like him and LJ had a one-on-one for Classic. Ricky Irvins had some good years with the Washington Redskins. Let's wrap this up. Back to football. Okay, these are just bonus players, I guess. And these are guys, things are out of order. Mr. Keith Jennings. Dexter Davis. Ed McCaffrey had some good years in the New York Giants. As my daughter's huffing and puffing. We don't like the New York Giants here. They got to pay respects, right? So Sean Moore, quarterback, never really made it. Sean Green had some good years for the Blue Jays, I think, right? Or Dodgers, Blue Jays? I think it was the Blue Jays. And that's it, guys. So that's the 1991 Classic French Draft Pick Set. Junk Wax Gems is the name of the new series I will be doing. So thank you for checking out the video. And my daughter has a message for you guys.
Smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks, guys. Peace.